Hey everyone, how's it going? My name is Liz Yang and welcome to Crypto Builders of New York, a show that shines a spotlight on crypto founders, builders, and visionaries, right here in New York City, the crypto capital of the world. Today I'm joined by DeFi Dave, growth maestro at CAP, a stablecoin protocol powered by credible financial guarantees. Welcome, DeFi Dave, or should I say TradFi Dave?
It can be whatever you want. Thank you so much for having me on, Liz.
And so before we dive into CAP and what you guys are up to, I know that you've lived in both LA and New York City, so can you settle the debate once and for all? Which coast is the best coast?
I get this question so many times. I feel like this is such a topic of conversation because people are either curious about LA or they visited LA once and they have like a certain perception of it. And you know what I noticed about like people from the East Coast that visit LA or like visit the West Coast? They love San Diego. They rave about San Diego. But for some reason, they just like hate LA. They're like, LA sucks, the traffic, this and that. They're like, oh, San Diego's really nice. And you're going to notice it with like every single person you talk to from like the Northeast. They're like, they love San Diego for some reason. But I actually am like in the minority of people that like grew up in the Northeast, grew up outside New York City and Jersey. And I love LA. I think LA is an incredible city. It's so rich and diverse in culture, the nature, the vibe. It takes like a certain time. It takes a little bit to get used to, honestly, because I lived there for 4 years.
Because it's like slower paced, or
it's like a slower pace. Like New York City's like it's just
go. It's crazy.
Grind.
Yeah.
I like to describe LA is really good, especially like on the west side. It's really good for the internal. So it's really good for like people doing like activities or people like working on like wellness and quality of life. Well, like New York's really good for the external. So it's really good for like social activities and going out. And meeting people. It's like in LA, you're just like in your car, like sitting there, listening to podcasts or audiobooks or whatever. So it's like you have a lot of time to yourself. Well, in New York, you're just like always around people and like everyone's just like on top of each other and you kind of feel that energy. So I think I'm a New York person when it comes to like, you know, honoring like like being social and like meeting people and building and grinding and like making connections. But LA is really good for like health and wellness.
So you've been in the New York City crypto scene for quite some time. So talk to me about its evolution and also what it's like to be a builder in New York City today, especially with incredible political momentum and all of this positive movement with stablecoins and so on.
Yeah, great question. So it's really, we were talking about this before the show. It's really funny because I actually like formally moved to New York in January, but I visited here so much that people thought I lived in New York. Because what I do is I'd like go and see my parents. And then I'd like pop into New York in like an Airbnb or like a hotel, or maybe I'd get like a sublease for a month. And so it felt like I was always in New York. And I think I saw on the Partyfuls, like I was in like 0.1% of Partyful.
Oh, wow. It's like your Spotify Wrapped, your Partyful Wrapped.
And yeah. And so what's it like? So the evolution of New York crypto, I think what's amazing about it, how it's like become even more of an epicenter in hover crypto than it was a few years ago. And I think like everything in crypto is momentum based, and like that includes the locations as well. I would say before the pandemic, like the epicenter for crypto in America was SF for various reasons.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah,
when I joined
SF.
the space,
Yeah.
when I joined the space, SF was the place to be. But I do feel like that, you know, that center of gravity has shifted over to New York over the past few years.
Yeah, 100%. And I think there's a few reasons for that. I think one that happened before COVID was Consensus when they like planted their flag in Brooklyn and Bushwick, East Williamsburg, in that area. They brought hundreds of like builders and devs to Brooklyn. And so like even like when Consensus back then, they had like their hiring spree and then like they had their cut and like they, you know, kind of evolved, but they like really set the foundation for crypto to grow in New York City, especially in Brooklyn. And then the second thing that happened was in 2020, like after COVID, SF just was like, I feel like SF and like just like VC and like Silicon Valley has always looked down at crypto. And so it never really made it like an encouraging environment. In New York, there's much more. It's not that it's like not looked down upon it, but there's more of a curiosity and like welcoming environment compared to like, I feel like from finance people, because they're interested in it. I mean, like JP Morgan, they were experimenting with stablecoins with Quorum back in like 2019.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they understand financial systems and they know the issues with the financial system.
Yeah. So I think they have like a lot less of an ideological bent and they just like see crypto as a useful technology. So a combination of that. And just like and then in like just after 2020 when DeFi took off, like DeFi finance, like you want to be in the finance epicenter, which is New York. So it made sense that like more and more protocols just like happen to be in New York and builders in New York. And then also just like I think New York is like a city that's just like perfect for crypto. In the sense that it's like very high dopamine, quick. Like everything's always moving, and crypto as an industry is the same way. So it's like the personality of crypto and the personality of New York go so well together.
So I want to also talk about, what it's like to work at a stablecoin project, especially with so many exciting things happening. So, Circle IPO'd. I think their underwriter projected like a $31 open. They actually hit almost $100 the first day. I checked the price just before recording this podcast. It's at $150.
Insane.
So just like absolutely insane. Stripe acquired Bridge. There's been trillions of dollars in flows in stablecoins just this year alone. So what do you make of all of it? Like, what is it like to work at a stablecoin project in this day and age?
That's a great question. A part of me like I can't believe it, because it's like I've been in this for so long. I've been in crypto for 8 years and DeFi and stablecoins for like better part of 5 years. It may have seemed like obvious in hindsight, but like you really didn't know that it was going to like end up like this, especially with how the regulatory environment was for so long. But how do I feel about all this stuff? Part of me is just kind of speechless, honestly. The evolution of stablecoins has been really interesting, because it went from being like something that was like really experimental to now something that is like about to be integrated in like the US financial system. Like before with stablecoins, like we were trying to make the most decentralized stablecoin as possible. Like how can we like, we wanted like our cake and eat it too. Basically, we wanted to like have like a dollar peg stablecoin, but not tied to the dollar, and so be independent of like the financial, which just doesn't work.
Right,
really.
right.
Which can work, but can only scale so much. Like if you want to like scale a stablecoin, like you need rules and definitions to protect users, and you need to be tied in the financial system somehow. And I think what's really unique about the Genius Act is quite literally makes stablecoins legal tender in the U.S. It makes it can basically, after the Genius Act passes, all Venmo and all like PayPal, all dollars and that can just like turn to stablecoins, which is crazy. Like that could be a scenario that happens.
So for our audience, the Genius Act is actually going to be voted upon in the Senate today at 4:30 p.m. So this is all very topical.
Yeah, and I think this is probably like the most impactful technology legislation since like the Telecommunications Act of 1996, because that established rules for the internet. And once those rules were established, then it may have taken like a few or several years after, but that's how like the Facebooks and Twitters and YouTubes of the world came about, because of like the rules and stuff and definitions that were in that act. So the Genius Act does the same thing. And I think what's cool about the Genius Act is it actually allows for non-bank entities to release and issue stablecoins. And so this actually like encourages innovation for the dollar, which we haven't seen. Like banks have just been sitting pretty for so long, collecting, doing their thing, and not really, I feel like there was room for innovation for a while. I think a good person that talks about this a lot is Austin Campbell on Twitter. I recommend everyone follow him. He's like the stablecoin guy, especially when it comes to anything with policy and regulation related. And for so long, like banks really have had a monopoly, and stablecoins actually challenge that. And I think at the end of the day, it's the users and holders that are going to benefit the most.
So in your X bio, you say that you're manifesting ETH Bushwick. So what is ETH Bushwick? Is it a real organization? Is it a state of mind?
ETH Bushwick is a state of mind. It's really a community of people, mostly in New York, but not necessarily in New York. It really just started as a joke between me and my friend, and we just thought it was funny. And I remember one day my friend was like, "Yo, I got the X account," and I'm just like, "No way! Like, give me the password right now." I can't believe I said X, a Twitter account. It will always be Twitter to me. But we just started shitposting, and like it really caught on. And like how my mind works is just like an A/B test. And like when I was like, okay, there's like something here, let's like make something of it. And like I kind of like, not just with the account, but with the community as well. Like just like a community naturally sprung up. Like everyone's like making memes, saying SIGs inside. Hell, I made hats and stuff. I'm coming out with ashtrays soon, so look on the store for that. But yeah, we're just having like a good time. It's really like, ETH Bushwick is a state of mind. And it's funny because like, we even like a few months ago, we had ETH Bushwick in Denver. And
it could be anywhere. It's location agnostic.
ETH Bushwick and Con. Long skinny SIGs inside.
I actually love that. The juxtaposition of ETH Bushwick and Con.
Yeah.
But what does it represent?
I think it represents a few things. Well, one, it can't be defined, but if it were to be defined, it kind of represents like kind of this like old school energy. Not like old school as in like, oh, like outdated, but like, why are we here?
Like crypto native.
Kind of like this like crypto native, like if you know, you know. just kind of like just people like that are here just not just beyond like the money or like the pump or like trading. It's
or
like
going to like a million
yeah,
conferences,
or going to a
like
million
doing a
conferences.
million panels.
Yeah, because like I mean like things have become like hyper financialized both like on chain and also like in people's like careers and stuff. That like ETH Bushwick is kind of an oasis away from all that. From like that rat
I love
race.
that. It's the essence of crypto distilled down to its most necessary components.
Yeah, just like exactly. That's a great way to put it. And like it's the whole conference circuit. I mean, we were talking about it before the show. It's crazy. Like every 2 weeks, it's like Consensus, and then like Solana Accelerate, then BTC Vegas, and now it's Berlin
Blockchain
and then
Week,
Con.
and then Can.
Yeah. Yes,
and
we
then
can.
WebEx.
Yeah. And so it's just like I kind of. I mean, we were all on the circuit for a while, but I kind of had this desire of like to build a community in like where I am, and so like in like one place that's not just something where you like pop in and pop out, but like everyone's here continuously, and I think that's what like ETH Bushwick is about. It's just like that it's home base is Bushwick. It's literally in the name.
So you mentioned you joined CAP in January.
Yeah.
So talk to me about CAP and also the problem that it's solving in the market.
Yeah. So I joined CAP in January. I remember Benjamin reached out. I've known Benjamin for like 4 years from like my gelato days, my work at Frax, so we knew each other, and from his work at Cheetah, my work at Frax and whatnot. And Benjamin came to me back in, I think it was like November. At the end of I remember he came to me at the end of the last ETH Bushwick, like towards the month.
You marked time in ETH Bushwick events.
Yeah, exactly. I remember because back in like October, that's when we actually like I wasn't even living in New York, but I like came into New York for the month. It's just to throw ETH Bushwick events. And towards the end of that month, Benjamin asked me to get on a call with me, and I'm just like, okay, sure. And then he like, presents like CAP to me, and I've heard it before, and he like was like, oh, I like want you to join us growth. And so I like really thought about it, and I'm just like, wow. And once I looked into it more and like, consulted with trusted people, I'm like, this is the move.
What did you find compelling about the project?
So I remember back in February we made a video for CAP because I was like learning about CAP too while I joined. It's like, okay, like how can I make this digestible for people like that aren't like deep in the weeds of DeFi? And I realized at the end of the day what CAP is a marketplace. And like I like to say this, Uber has no cars, but it's the biggest taxi company in the world. Like Uber is a marketplace to connect riders and people, and basically like Uber drivers. Airbnb owns no rooms or hotels or homes, but yet is like the biggest hotel company in the world. CAP we're not running any yield strategies. We have no we're just a protocol, but yet we have like an infinite canvas for yield. We have like the best yield opportunities in the world through the CAP protocol. And at the end of the day, it's like it's using the power of market economics to achieve the most efficient returns, to achieve the most efficiency for users at the end of the day. So CAP is this three-sided marketplace where you have users who mint the stablecoin with collateral such as USDC, USDT, other collateral that will announce payment stablecoins that will announce very soon, cough, cough. We have operators, and operators are those actually earning the yields. They have edge in some areas, so maybe they're like a market maker. There's some like
a trading desk.
Trading desk. They have edge, and they see opportunities. And sometimes those opportunities are long term. Maybe they're around for like a few years. Maybe they're only around for 24 hours. But they have some edge, and they can capitalize on that. And then you have restakers, and the restakers are the ones that protect the user and the backing and all that. And so like what the restakers do, what restakers and operators, they team up. The operator may have like some strategy. And keep in mind, a lot of these operators are backers, and a lot of them are regulated financial firms. And so like your IMCs, Flow Traders, Susquehannas, like Wall Street names, people on Wall Street will recognize. And they'll have some strategy, and they'll go partner with an operator, with a restaker, and the restaker will delegate to them. And that delegation acts as collateral. And basically what the delegation does, it guarantees the strategy. So it's like insurance, but not insurance. Like I would describe a guarantee as like if someone's ever like signed an apartment in New York, but they work in crypto, so they may like not have a normal like W-2. And so like they need like someone to guarantee it. So they get like their parents to like guarantee it. The parents are like basically ensuring that like, oh, like we're going to make sure rent is paid. But let's say like rent isn't paid for whatever reason, like the parents could sue their kid. So it's kind of like that guarantee is like kind of like how the restaking agreement works. So it's not insurance, it's like a guarantee. And so once they have that delegation, the operators who are all whitelisted come to like the cap protocol. It's like, hey, like we have the strategy, like we can like run it, and we're like, great. So like the protocol like gives them out a loan. Maybe it's at like 8% and the strategy brings in 12%. So they go, they run their strategy for however long. They pay back the loan. They give fees to the restaker, and everything they keep on top of that is basically free money. It's like they had like no cost of capital to earn that return. You have to keep in mind like the MO of these shops, whether they're like market makers, these firms, is to grow their AUM. They want to just make as much money as possible. And so if you're telling them that you have a protocol that can help increase their AUM and like basically give them free money as long as they keep their end of the bargain, they're going to take that deal every time. And so the thing that CAP does that's so powerful is that it aligns incentives properly. So it's like operators love it because they get like no cost of capital. Restakers love it because they have something to restake for, which is yield. And then users love it is because my favorite line in all this is like CAP is an infinite canvas of yield. So instead of just one strategy that may only work for like however long, or like maybe it's like someone's just like the T-bill yield. T-bill yield is good now, but is it going to be good in like 6 months? I mean, hell, I think like there's a rate cut coming, and like there's more rate cuts than like what good's the T-bill yield. And so CAP, like it allows operators to whoever has like the best strategy wins. Whoever has, wins, and will be able to access the capital in the CAP protocol.
So you talk about CAP being a three-sided marketplace.
Yeah.
And when you start a marketplace, there's typically this cold start problem, right? Like you need to get one side of the marketplace there, so then the other side like will also come. So for you guys, you talked about the minters of the stablecoin and also the restakers and also the operators. So who are you targeting first to be able to attract the other sides of the marketplace?
Yeah, so like I said earlier, like all our operators to start who are going to be whitelisted are regulated Wall Street firms. So like people, it's like they already have to deal with a ton of compliance and stuff. So they're like the people like you want to be running like these strategies. And then the restakers are like, your EtherFis, your Renzos, people running on Eigenlayer, Symbiotic. We're using both. And then users and minters, we're talking anybody with capital, honestly, LPs, people that want to deposit, that want to earn yield consistently, that they know that they can trust, that they know that it's protected. Because as I said earlier, like before stablecoins were experimental, but now we've done the experiments. We're in this new phase of stablecoins where it's about to be accepted in the regulatory nexus, especially payment stablecoins. What CAP is a yield stablecoin on top of these payment stablecoins. So these payment stablecoins, they're going to have to deal with like regulations. They can only do like certain things. And so like people are going to be wanting to look for more yield. They're going to want to make sure that yield is safe. And there's no better place to do that than CAP. The CAP protocol has two different products. It has CUSD, which is our stablecoin backed by different like payment stablecoins as collateral. So think of USDC, USDC, USDT, other payment stablecoins that we'll announce soon, TM. And then STCUSD is basically the staked version of CUSD. And that is basically what is being, quote unquote, lent out to operators who run their strategies. And so that is like where that's where users receive the yield, is the STCUSD products.
So what's coming up for CAP?
Yeah, so great question. We just actually announced our launch roadmap. We announced our partnerships with Eigenlayer and Symbiotic. Everyone should be on the lookout for Mega ETH and Layer 0. We're doing stuff with them for their testnet, so be on the lookout for that. We're going to be announcing our collateral partners soon. So I hinted to that earlier. Some like really big, names that people will recognize. Be on the lookout for that. We'll be announcing our operator and restaker in relationships. So as I mentioned earlier, they have to partner with each other in order to access CAP's capital. And so we'll be announcing those relationships. We actually just deployed our contracts, so we're live on mainnet doing testing. And I would expect soon that it will be opened up for users.
So it sounds like you guys have a lot of really interesting partnerships lined up. So when can users actually start minting the stablecoin?
So we're doing like our testing right now, just like making sure like all the systems are kosher, and then everyone once we have that and we feel comfortable, we'll allow users to come and deposit. Like, right, we've done 6 audits. We're actually going through our 6th audit right now, so we take security very seriously. I think in like a few months we'll be able to see user deposits.
Yeah, that's really exciting. I'll definitely be checking it out myself.
Yeah.
So there's been, such proliferation with stablecoins. There's so many new stablecoins out. So where does CAP fit into this, growing stablecoin landscape?
Yeah, I view CAP in a way as like stablecoin infrastructure. So I think before, like now, you're kind of seeing a consolidation of distribution. Like you mentioned Stripe earlier with their purchase of Bridge, how they purchase of Privy. So they're really trying to like own the user and like basically like the point of minting, I guess. And then I think you've seen reports of like Meta, like Apple, even like JP Morgan, like registering Meta and Apple, like looking at stablecoins, JP Morgan, like registering like JPMD or something like that. So like these people already have like so much distribution and like are already in the hands of like millions of people. And it's like, I don't know if you're going to like touch that. And they'll all be payment stablecoins. And so, like I said earlier, like these payment stablecoins, they're gonna be looking for yield, and how many yield opportunities are actually like out there that are both safe and consistent. And so I see CAP as being like the go-to place for yield that can scale into like the billions and tens of billions in the future. And so like right now, like we're just like starting. Speaking of like what to expect in the future from CAP, we use restaking like something like ETH and like Symbiotic. But in the future, we can definitely have like BTC and like with Babylon, maybe like Sol with like Jiddle Sol, and like any like L1 token. So like the sky's the limit with CAP.
Awesome. So let's close things out with a couple of fun New York themed lightning round questions. Mm-hmm. So, all right, we're coming in hot. Fuck, marry, kill. Pizza, bagels, or subs?
That's a hard one. I'll have to marry subs for the protein.
There's protein with bagels. You can get locks on them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's true. Oh, I can get locks on them.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I saw you've been working out with like a trainer, right?
Yeah.
Health era.
The centralized fitness David health era. I would have to marry bagels then. Bagels have always been with me, especially growing up in North Jersey. Like
ride or die.
We're very proud of our bagels.
Better than New York, you think?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I have to make it out there. I'm going to say something really controversial, and hopefully this does not get me canceled, but I am just really not a bagel person, and maybe I just have not had the right bagel.
I don't think you had the right bagel. I think you need to go to New Jersey and have the right bagel.
I have to make a pilgrimage.
Yeah. I'd marry a bagel and lox.
All right. So who would you kill?
I'm sorry, sub. I'd kill the sub.
Really?
I love pizza.
As a Jersey guy?
I love pizza.
Yeah.
Pizza's so good.
You can't argue with pizza.
I mean, like, if you're just gonna like, fuck pizza, it's cheesy, it's delicious, it's great for one.
There's nothing not to like.
Yeah.
Go to bodega order.
I go to bodega order. I'm on my health arc. Okay. And so I like getting like a grilled chicken salad, and I like to add like banana peppers to it. I like to have vinaigrette.
I did not know you could get a salad at
I know.
at like the bodega counter.
Yeah.
I just never considered that as an option.
Because I remember, like a few years ago, I was like training, I was like boxing, and I was like supposed to fight in Dubai, and I was like losing weight.
Do the crypto fight night? I actually was considering doing that too.
Yeah, I got too many concussions, and I started sparring. I was like, I can't do this.
Oh my gosh.
But like to like train, I just like get like salads and stuff. So I that's so fun. But like that's like my go-to bodega order. But like my go-to like deli order, if I'm like at like a Jersey deli, I'm at like my like standard deli in Jersey.
Like not when you're not in a health arc.
When I'm not in a health arc.
Yeah.
Is ideally Taylor ham, egg and cheese on plain bagel, salt, pepper, ketchup.
Jersey represent. Love the Taylor ham.
It's Taylor ham, not pork roll.
Love that. Favorite subway line?
I have to say, I like the L for convenience. I like the J and the M, but the JMZ for like, I like the view. You know how like it goes like above ground and you can see like the city and stuff.
That's true.
So I gotta say like for like the view and stuff, it's like the JMZ. For convenience, like the L. I don't know what I'd do without the L.
Yeah. The L is necessary.
The L is like literally like the main artery of New York, especially of like all of like crypto New York. Yeah.
I love that. Most interesting celebrity run-in?
Oh yes, Malia Obama.
What? Where?
It was the opening night of Laissez-Faire in FiDi.
Oh, okay, interesting.
And so like,
how'd you recognize her? Did she have like bodyguards or something?
So like the secret, it was like Malia Obama and like Joe Biden's granddaughter. I don't know her name.
Besties.
But like like the bodyguards were like, around, but they were like, they
like low key, like
they look like kids. They look
yeah.
like they're friends.
Oh.
So yeah. But like
okay.
she was there at the opening, and I remember and so that was like probably like the most iconic run-in I had. I was like, that's literally Millie Obama right there.
So so DeFi Dave, to close things out, if there are any crypto builders who are considering moving to New York but they're not sure, what advice would you give them?
When it comes to like building in New York, it's like you can build from anywhere, but you can't connect with people from anywhere. Like that FaceTime really does matter, being able to like sit down with people and like not be in a rush. And the thing I've really enjoyed about in New York the most is, I mentioned building a community, and that's the thing I do enjoy, but having like genuine one-on-one time with people without like the air of like a conference and like the rush and feeling like you need to go somewhere. You can just like be and like really get to know someone and enjoy your time like and with each other and like getting to know the person and like be much more like constructive and productive in meetings being based in New York, rather than if you're just like flying in, you're still in that like flying in traveling mindset. So it's like, oh, I'm gonna meet this person, that person, that person. But when you're just like in New York, you don't have to be that kind of rush. You can just like really
you can just be.
You can just
be.
Exactly. Which is actually quite LA coded. You can just be
bringing some LA into New York, bringing some New York into LA.
Yeah. You have to have like the yin and yang of both.
Exactly.
Those that can balance the two will be the most powerful.
You need the bitter for the sweet to mean anything.
Exactly.
I love that, DeFi Dave. I mean, honestly, I completely agree. There's no other place like New York City to build as a crypto founder or as a crypto operator. And I really enjoyed our conversation. Thank you for coming on today.
Thank you so much, Liz, for having me. I'm flattered and honored for you to have me on the Crypto Builders Podcast of New York. And like you thought of me. I'm just like, oh my goodness. So thank you so much. And hope to talk to you soon.
Excited to follow Cap's progress.
Yeah.
And thank you to our listeners for tuning in. I'll see you next time.